delay. Hello.
Oh yeah, nice logo.
Yeah. That's because I are the ones hosting this event. So thanks to that, we are able to do this. And I think there we are, and there you are.
Yeah.
So
And
probably just don't worry about the stream. Just kind of be with me in real time, and then now it's starting. It's time to start, right?
I hear you try reloading.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi everyone.
Do you have a little jingle for the show?
Dun 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 dun. Felipe is too soft, louder.
I can see that.
This one is for Capel Nord. Boom. Boom.
Yes. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, so that was Anne Veinberg's jingle for the NLCL III radio stream show.
Woo.
With image, yeah. And so why are we here, Anne? What's going on?
Well, Felipe called this concert the future of music and what that means, and especially what that means today as we're all stuck in our homes due to Corona. And it's pretty exciting for me because that means I can be at a show as opposed to being stuck in the house. So I'm really happy to be here, and we're really, really grateful to III for hosting the event. Jonathan Reus will be on a little bit later to say more about what III is, but basically it's this incredible place where people have the opportunity to research and explore and develop new instruments and concepts and everything you want in a place that supports the future of music.
Where is that place? It sounds too sweet.
Sounds too sweet, yeah. It's really a pity we cannot be there live, but next time, health is more important. Yeah. So here we are talking about the future of music. And in particular, we're kind of talking about the future of algorithmic music. Am I right, Felipe?
And live coding, I would say.
And live coding,
that's what this is about, because, I mean, as you know, we're stuck in a house. Everyone knows the situation. But basically, there was supposed to be a concert on the 28th, so today around this time, in The Hague at the III real physical headquarters. And all the artists that are going to be interviewed and presenting music here were artists that were going to come to the Netherlands and perform for everyone here live. So, you know, with the turn of events, this is the best way to try to keep this going on. And also, you know, as many people like us or like me, we got all our concerts cancelled from now until June. Probably you also see that, Anne. Me and Anne were going to play also, somewhere in April, and then and then in May, and then anyway, everyone's seeing this, and there's a way to just keep going and being able to again pay the artists. And that being said, there's a donations page on the description, and if not, I'll give the link later, but it's basically the III page, and then /donate. I'll check if the description is correctly, otherwise maybe someone can post it there in the comments. And I mean, for now, this is kind of a good way to go, it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully this is not the future of music, but actually things will go back to liveness.
So we've been seeing really a lot of these online concerts coming up. I mean, they were existing before, for always, especially more with algorithmic music than anything with live, with more acoustic instrument concerts. But they are really popping up a lot. But I wonder if then this will become the new norm, or if people will actually really rebel and say, no, it's really not the same to be experiencing something through your laptop, through YouTube. We really want to be there. We want to be there live. We want to feel the sweat of the artists as things go wrong, or as they get really, really excited, or, you know, to really feel that physical presence of musicians. I think we'll really see a divide in what people think about live music performance after this period is over.
Yeah. Also, what's kind of a little bit funny is that although we kind of themed our concert "The Future of Music," thinking about live coding and what people are experimenting with code to make new expressions or new new proposals on sound composition and musical composition. But kind of what we're talking about is the future of music more in sort of the setup or the way we present it, you know, if it's remote or if it's together and with space between us, or as it was before the shutdown. But that's kind of funny, right? Like talking about the future of music and what's right now, as Shelly says, the present of music. But what we'll try to do anyway while we're playing the pieces of the artists here is to really be focusing on the kind of their musical proposal. Because like what we wanted to also do for this is invite people who, from what we've experienced, try to look for something that doesn't necessarily fall into the containers of maybe what gets the most attention on the live coding community, or maybe in the media in general, which is like genres that fall more into dance music or techno music, or the super famous algorithm, which we all think is super cool and we all enjoy a lot.
Sometimes I feel that live coding has become almost synonymous with the algorithm movement, which can make, that's the way I experience it sometimes, which makes me feel a little bit like an outsider. I anyway feel a little bit like an outsider because of my less technical background. But when we talk so much about live coding and how closely it's linked with the algorithm movement, it can make people that explore live coding through non-algorithm or through non-dance music feel a little bit like they're not really part of the live coding movement anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what we want to also try to do with this show, kind of show that, in this live coding community, there are so many different ways to express each one's style and each one's poetry. It can range from more noise or more like spoken word, like what Kofi will do. I guess a bit more classical, what you do, in a way. So, it's really diverse and varied, and it's just nice to be able to see that, and then just trying to see if among all these we get a glimpse of what music can be transforming to. Because like one thing that we also notice, that we've seen in the conservatory, you're from the conservatory too, I studied there too, is that there is like little attention to live coding in the classical scene, right? Would you agree with that?
I'd say there is no attention to live coding in the classical scene.
Okay, and then like why is that? Because like we all also see this kind of festivals like Opera Forward or I don't know, Classical Next, and all these platforms that are kind of talking about the next steps in classical music, and it's just kind of weird to don't see something that is just so present, I feel, in the modern life and modern digital art, which is code and live coding. And I'm always very impressed to not see something in there. I just don't understand why is that, but maybe you can help me get that.
That's not entirely true. I think, like, for example,
of course, false information.
No, I mean, Rewire last year had Thor give a talk and stuff like that, so it's not completely absent from the larger music community. And I also I feel the live coding community is very open. It's just that the part of live coding which has had a lot of media attention has been very focused on a particular movement.
But would you say Rewire is like classical music?
No, Rewire is really kind of contemporary music in the broader sense of the word.
Okay, I guess.
But they have a really amazing diverse program, really, from like hardcore contemporary music to really dance beaty stuff that sells out thousands of tickets.
Yeah, because that's what they want too. And I think that Rewire also they take a look into technology and use of technology.
Absolutely. But so this has somehow ended up being like a go Rewire.
I mean,
there are many other great festivals, but I just remember that when I was there last year, that Thor was also giving a talk, and they had more talks from people that are key to the live coding community in any case.
Oh, that's really good. But then it would be also really good to see, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking like, not just like the way the concerts are, but kind of the sound worlds that live coding allow us to create. That's kind of something that I feel is also driving a kind of a futuristic or a very innovative curve. And that's sometimes what I miss in the contemporary scene or in the classical scene, let's say. But I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong because I don't know. I'm just waiting for you to say that. But it's false information. Probably you go to more concerts than I do.
No, I don't think I do. In fact, I think you go to more concerts than I do. But yeah.
I don't know. Somehow it feels like live coding is still a bit of an underground genre. And I would say in our years of being in this community,
I think it's an underground genre in the classical scene for sure. But what I see from the algorave movement is it's a very overground genre. I mean, it's getting some really big publications and it sees a lot of publicity. So it's kind of mixed. And I hope that maybe not everyone feels this way, but maybe it's the algorave movement and the other live coding movement can once again join a bit more so that there isn't such a clear divide. But there's a lot of things with algorave, like algorave, for example, always is very late at night. So I think it's really interesting that we're having this live coding concert at a very, well, dinner time actually, but a very PG time.
Yeah.
And I think there is definitely something about the time that you perform or listen to music has a huge impact onto the type of music that you're prepared to listen to. If you're listening to something that is very comfortable and grooving and you want to move, that is something that you generally want to listen to at the end of the day to unwind with a beer or whatever. Whereas music that is kind of challenging and makes you feel a little uncomfortable, like a lot of contemporary music does, maybe not the concerts tonight. I have no idea what the artists are playing, so I'm really excited to see and how we all experience this collectively. Then you need to be a bit more concentrated, I think, and that also defines a little bit what's going on. And people have more spare time. I mean, you generally don't plan to do something at 10 p.m. Everything you do...
Well, you kind of want to party a bit.
Oh, Patrick wrote Algo Matinee. I love it.
Yeah. But also think about this. Also, like, I mean, to what point do you want to just listen to, and up to which point do you want to read or follow the code, or do you want to think about the code? Like somehow live coding is also kind of on the edge of music, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a discussion that maybe we can also have with some of the artists.
Yeah. But I guess the real question is, Felipe, what do you see as the future of music? Just to kind of come back to the topic. What for you is the future? Like, where would you like music to go?
Where would I like music to go?
In an ideal situation.
Wow, that's a really hard question. I think that's a question that everyone should try to answer. But
all right, guys, fill in your comments. Where do you see the future of music?
Yeah.
Or maybe we should ask that question again at the end.
Yeah. I think it's just a good way to maybe go through these sound worlds that the artists are going to propose, think about the questions and discussions we're going to have, and then at the end you can ask me again. I'll try to see if I can formulate something. If I say something now, I don't know. I would say,
are you expecting this experience, the concert, to change our perception of what the future of music will be?
Not necessarily, I guess, but it will hopefully it will also just open up a bit more, like what kind of music are people from our community making, and that's kind of what we wanted to do, and also what III also strives for with this series, to see what people from the Netherlands coding group are doing. So we're having artists from here, like local artists, and also international artists, and it's just a nice way to see the diversity of the musical expression in the community. And that's, I think, what will hopefully open up with this dinner concert or dinner podcast live radio thing.
Also, just as a thing, everyone should post what they're having for dinner as they're eating it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we all feel like we're there together. And in fact, I think food should be a much bigger part of concert events.
Yeah.
I'm a real big believer in like food as you watch, as long as you can eat quietly. Because as a performer, I really hate when people make noise, but there's something very comfortable about being able to like chill and eat. And that's, I guess, also one of the powerful things about online concerts is this ability to mute your sound.
Yeah, or also you can just pay attention, sometimes not pay attention, do something else like cook, or just put the laptop in there and listen to it a bit. And maybe that's something that we could also try to explore with this. And I think it's also valid and it's also nice. You just put it there and listen to it and pay attention sometimes and sometimes not. Sometimes when you go to a concert, sometimes you have to struggle to really pay attention through the whole thing.
Or you just fall asleep.
And it feels a bit weird. But okay, coffee's post-lunch. That's cool.
Pilmeni. I want pilmeni.
You want chocolate, I know you.
No. Someone
so
says,
we're gonna get
Lindsay
close
says she
to-
wants pilmeni, and I really wholeheartedly agree.
Okay, maybe we just change this to the future of food or the
Future
present
of
of food.
food.
Yeah.
Maybe they're related. All right,
so-
shall we kick off with our first artist?
Yeah, who's that?
Our first artist is Rafaela.
Yeah. So, do you know something about her, or should we let the music talk?
Let's let the music talk, and then we can grill her on what she's
What she's
and she
up
can tell
to.
us about herself.
Okay, let's see. Let's start this then, and then we just switch it there.
All right, I'm muting. Ciao.
Bye. Okay. Are you back on track, Anne?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I have some latency, so it's a bit tricky. Shall we call Rafaela now?
Yes, please.
That was so incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is definitely an instrument from the future, right?
Yeah, totally an instrument from the future. Where did she go? I literally just had her.
So let's wait until Anne make sure she calls Rafaele, and then we can.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what are your first reactions, your first impressions? This is the first time you listen to this, right?
This is the first time I've listened.
I mean, let's start with
And
the obvious.
Rafaela. Shall we call her? Hi, Rafaela.
Awesome.
Hey,
That was so incredible. Joining us. That was so amazing. I have some. I'm going to plug the sound.
you well?
I'll fix it. Yeah, don't worry. You can just start.
So I just want to say something, and then I want to hear all about it. What for me was really interesting because I met you, like what was it? I don't know, a year ago almost, and you told me about this project, and I've never seen it. I just remember hearing about it. So I'm really. I think I saw that you were playing with these solar powered speakers. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I have to say sorry because I said in the end of the meeting, I'm going to send you a picture how this looks. I never did it. Sorry. So this is not speakers, but it's a case that's pedal. If you put inverse. But solar panels are to charge mainly. But there's also a button that you can also control this signal of the solar panels as an analog signal. So you have 6 analog signals if you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is a question I also had. I even sent Felipe a WhatsApp hey, is the sound synchronized? Which was, for me, as I was watching, and I guess because it's so similar to a conventional cello, I was really waiting to hear kind of the same relationship of high and low, and there wasn't this direct instrumental relationship between your gestures and what I heard. And I was wondering if that was a streaming issue or if that was because you're actually coding with your playing, right? So it's not necessarily about the movement you make is the sound you hear.
Yeah, I think there was a streaming problem.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? What happened?
Yeah, but there was.
So can you tell us more about that then? How that the relationship between your physical gestures and what you're actually hearing?
The electronic sounds that we're hearing, yeah.
You mean my combination? I mean, this balance between what I'm hearing and what I'm playing?
What you're physically doing and what you're hearing. Yeah. What you're hearing and what you're playing. You're right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think this is one of the biggest advantage to play this instrument that I'm building. This should be an advantage, but it seems that I have to respect more the sound. So sometimes you have an idea, and you can feel also when you're playing together with someone. I play with Sebastian. I think he's just watching your concert, and we have to respect each other. And if you have an electronic instrument that it's kind of a machine, it can play alone if you want. You also sense that. I sense that a lot, and I love this fear. I love that I have to really give him time sometimes. Say, okay, you want to go there? Okay, go ahead. Just do what you want. And I think this is one of the most beautiful relationships that you can find with electronic music. A sense of fear, I guess.
Absence of?
New sense of fear.
Absence of fear. Absence.
No, a new sense of fear.
New sense of fear.
Yeah.
Okay. Fear of the unknown, like where it's gonna go, or fear of what? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, where it's going to go. Well, I am a cellist, so we are in my education as a musician. You expected to practice as a perfect machine, so that you can achieve such a high degree of qualification that you know exactly where you are going. And even when fear comes in the stage, you kind of you know what's gonna happen. There's no surprise. But with electronic music, even if it's a piece, it's an artwork. There's a start and end. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to not sense this fear. And
would you say the fear is more with electronic music, or less, or just different?
The fear, I think, is of losing the flow.
Okay. Well, I certainly didn't have the feeling that you lost the flow in any sense from your performance.
Was it improvised?
Well, yeah, but that happens. And I have to confess, it's great. It's a moment that you say. Probably a lot of live coders are resonating what I'm saying now. When you have a mistake, you feel like, oh no, shit. And if you stick in your mistake, you cannot just go. So you just learn by fear. You just learn with your mistake. And this is so beautiful. How you can make things
like just
in a different meaning.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, develop from the mistakes. Like the mistakes you're making are opening new paths of development.
Yeah.
And you're just very, I guess, present to be able to take those paths.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would question with that is whether that's really so specific to electronic music. I think all artists, and maybe even all humans, we really kind of learning from mistakes is the way that we move forward. I'm not sure it's really so specific to electronic music.
I think it's also in any music performance. If you imagine, like, maybe it's a very ancient reference, but like the beginning of theater in the Greek time, like there was fear. There was this kind of Olympic Games where you can lose your life. There is the theater, this humor, the fear of being connected or not. And I think this fear, it's also in any kind of performance.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. What I didn't agree with is that it's greater in electronic music.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nice to touch on fear. And actually you have a comment there on YouTube saying the future of music is a new kind of fear. It's a good comment, right? It makes sense.
It is a nice... Maybe I just don't... the word fear is...
Maybe it has a negative connotation, but maybe we don't need to see it that way. It's more like a primal feeling. More like surprise, I guess.
It's a very basic instinct, right? That the things that you're scared of are the things that you try to avoid. Just like we are now all in our homes instead of being together because of the fear of getting the novel coronavirus. So fear is certainly a driving force in life. But I want to kind of get away with this, and I just want to say that I was really kind of mesmerized by the sounds, and I was thinking what I said in the beginning about how the time of a concert really impacts the type of music you're prepared to listen to. And I was thinking what would be an interesting time slot to listen to your playing, and like every time slot really worked. You sort of thing you could also listen to at 5 a.m. as well, to kind of as a meditative thing, or really at the end of an algorave. I would love to say this at the end of an algorave for everyone to kind of like chill out and just like regather and regroup themselves. And it was very I had a very calm feeling towards it. It was
like embracing.
Gave me a warm,
right?
fuzzy
like
feeling.
Embracing
nice.
music. Yeah.
That's very nice to hear.
Oh my God! Is my sound better?
Yes.
People cannot hear me yet. I hope they can hear me now.
I can hear you.
You can hear me, yeah. I guess I'm in.
Yeah, but that's because we're connected differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Felipe only spent like 6 hours setting up the sound.
6 hours in 2 days, but yeah, that's okay. We want to do it as best as possible, right? So maybe
I really like what Mariah wrote, which is kind of what I was saying. The fear is a survival mechanism. That's very kind of what I want to say as well.
Yeah. I have another question, more like please say, if you want to say something, please say it.
No, I was just checking the comments.
Yeah, it's good to check it. That's a nice thing about these kind of formats, that you can really interact with people, and that sometimes you cannot do that in a different podium setting, right? But okay, before touching that, like one thing that pops up me when I experience this is like sometimes we're used in the live coding community for people to share their screens, right? And in your case, like your piece or your performance works perfectly without sharing your screen. In a way, I guess we can follow your instrument, we can follow your hands. But like, did you consciously like choose not to show us what's happening in the code while you're playing, or you feel that your algorithmic development is expressed in the way you're playing and in the way the music is unfolding and your fingers are moving? Or like, could you just tell us about that decision?
Yeah, part of this decision is by technical problems, and part is also because I believe there is some proposals that you should avoid just because of subjective decisions. But I have a screen in the bow. I don't know if it was very visible. And the code that I see in the screen, I intend to also share. Mm-hmm. But this didn't happen yet because it's a lot of building this instrument. But it will go there. We are actually at the moment, me and Timo, he's also watching. Yeah. Trying to do that happened by a collaboration between Mercury and Kinroll.
Awesome.
Which I think, I didn't mention, but it's the name of the cello.
Say it again.
And Mercury is the language that Timo developed. Exactly. So.
And what's the name of your cello? Sorry.
Kinroll.
How do you write that?
Maybe you can leave that in the comments.
Yeah, just leave it in the comments. People
that.
want to check more about it.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason of the name, it's because Kinroll in English, it's this kind of metal structures which has some very tiny slots. It's like a slippery structure, but there is a grip. So it seems like something very like a reference of how the instrument works with the knees that I have to move. Yeah. But also the tuning pegs, because I made myself. It's always a challenge. This part.
It's 3D printed. So, how do you make it? Can you tell us more about the making of the instrument, and also like technically, like how does it work?
Then I did the whole concert.
Is it so? Okay, just tell us about like in a nutshell, like what sensors do you have in there? How are you communicating with a computer, and ultimately with a?
Yeah. I have a capacitive sensor, which I've been updating right now. Mm-hmm. It controls. It receives message. My capacitive skin, and interprets as a button. Mm-hmm. There's two of those buttons that works as an analog pot meter.
As a button, you mean like on off?
Yeah. Yeah. And what else? I tried with other sensors as well, but I was I kind of minimalism. Things has to be simple when you are playing. So I was more. This instrument has more digital things inside than outside, so there's not so much sensors. Basically, it's just the sensor of the buttons, not right now.
Yeah.
And the screen.
Yeah.
But inside, I try to use male frequency spectrum to track the color of this analog signal from the solar panels. And there's also autocorrelation that I use for the detection mode. So inside of the cello, there is 4 modes of practice, I say, which are the synthesis, programming, detection, and analog. And I can change, I can play at the same time all the modes, but I have a button which switches which mode I am typing. Yeah. So I have not so much buttons, which is great because I cannot control too much. I like simple. I like to think simple when I'm playing. So I have in total, 6 buttons.
Yeah, less is more.
Just for switch, and the other ones is messages.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. It sounds like really definitely we need like one whole stream just dedicated to your instrument. But definitely futuristic, definitely super interesting, and definitely making a super nice and embracing soundscape and sound world.
And maybe people can visit. Do you have a website, Rafaela?
Yeah, I can type in the comments.
Yeah, if someone's curious about it.
Although it's just my name, so.
Yeah. Also, are you planning to make more of these instruments, or is it only meant for you, or you want more cellists to play?
I think last year there was a lot of people trying to push me to this idea to really sell it, to make a kind of a commercial object. Yeah. But what is really my passion is to make a concept of it. So I've been trying to think more as a concept instead of a product.
Just a last question about the conceptual part. Is it all solar powered?
The instrument?
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Of course, you have to have sun.
Yeah.
But
you can charge it, right, and play at night.
It's also a question maybe for this kind of concert. I mean, this kind of theme, the future of music. Yeah. Why there is just concerts in the evening, or why is there not concerts in the morning?
But there are concerts in the morning, and there are concerts in the day.
Yeah, it's just that like concerts, I guess.
In our current society, generally people work in the day. So concerts are in the evening. But I think this is another thing will be interesting to see after the corona crisis, because now work hours have to be much more flexible to accommodate people's situations at home. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if indeed we can have more concerts during the day.
Yeah.
I think if these work hours remain flexible, because the day is a great time for concerts. People are alert. It can really, especially at the beginning of the day, or in the middle of the day, it can really kind of give you a refresh, and that's really needed. I think.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I think we have to move on. Yeah. It was amazing. It was so great to watch your performance and to have this conversation, Rafaela. So everyone should definitely go check out Rafaela's website.
If you get that from Veinberg, it means it was good.
Good.
So you should be very proud of this.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to hear that. It's the most amazing feedback that I can get. Smiles and people talking about and saying thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nancy, that you feel this way in the comments. Do we really have a future at this point? I certainly hope so.
Yeah. But okay, before we touch into that, let's just comment. So the next thing we're going to listen to, it's from Kofi Oduro, some really nice dude that we met in Madrid in the ICLC 2019 was that, I think. And I guess we can do it also Rafael style. We can just let his stream talk for itself, and then we'll meet him and talk about him. Cool?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Okay, let's go for the next one then. Whoops. Hold on. Anne, say something. She already muted. Okay,
I had
there we
muted
go.
my microphone, but I am still here waiting for you to boot.
It started. Let's go. Kofi Oduro.
Okay.
They never really listen. They always think the borrow like we're going in the piston, but I'm gonna let them listen. I'm gonna let them listen what I think is just a missing, cause I'm trying to get the snake. No need to hiss. This is a list. This is an array. All I'm trying to do is get their lyrics like I'm trying to get them spray. All I'm trying to do is get the flow to stay. And I'm trying to make sure that they understand I play. I play, I pray. I do this, I stay. All I'm trying to do is make sure I never stray. Trying to get it back like I'm never going slay. And then I set the pack cause I'm trying to make an impact. Trying to get the inspections cause I'm trying to get an inspection. And I'm trying to think of deep, so you call it reflection. Reflection with inflection, I'm trying to get inflict. Like I'm trying to get compact, like I'm trying to get no conflict. Conflict, counterprise, enterprise, like I'm going on a different eyes. I never see past the sky, cause I know we reach a start, so I'm trying to get fly to the high to the buy. They never really talk the sentence cause they're trying to get a reference, trying to look at me like I'm messy in the tense, intense to the compact cause we're trying to make sense. Call it like a thriller. All I'm trying to do is get a big man figure. All they're trying to do is trying to get it like a bigger, but I'm trying to like a shine. No blink, no need, cause I try to get the complete, trying to make this succeed. All we're trying to do is get it achieved. I could add a little sample to make this mix clean, but I'm trying to go up. No need to proclaim to the aim, cause you're sipping Gatorade, and we're trying to get on top like we're going on a rain on parade, cause we're trying to get stoked. And everybody in the time, yes, we need some aid. I'm going all over like my mind just scattered, and I'm trying to get the thoughts, but it just in a batter. The mixture not right, so I gotta get a splatter, and then I go to the store to make it all matter like the verbs on a chatter, cause I'm trying to get the verbs and I'm trying to get the words, trying to make them up like we go on the curb, cause this flow is just a simple, this flow is just a double. I'm trying to go top baseball, you know I'm top triple with the cycle, cause we're trying to get the verbal, trying to make the mix so we get it on the decimal, doesn't matter, cause everything I do is get the rhyme scheme, rhyme heme. All we're trying to do is get the decline on the incline, cause I'm trying to make the rhyme clean. Rhyme seams, this is what I do when my mind sees. Trying to spread all over like the river streams, river hemes. Trying to get a river team. All I'm trying to do is get my whole living different team. No I in team, so I gotta make it mean. Try to get it up like Kofi scene, and now I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna lock. My mind is still uncovered, so this is not a block. It's just that when I say I'm gonna live code, I gotta let the code flow, cause this is how we get the code dough. And they don't understand how I do it with the mix, so they're looking at me. Oh damn, you're so sick. Oh damn, you're so slick. Oh damn, your mind split. Oh damn, the mind's hit. Oh damn, how does that fit? How do you get it fixed? How you get on the corner and never sprint six? That's the whole me. That's the new me. This is me ciphering as I get the new team. And now I'm getting back to the Hydra with the Sonic Pie lyrics, as we're trying to make it unique, so we're trying to get the purist. Gotta get the best. All I'm trying to do is say I'm not a genius, but I am closer as I get the scientist, artist. And now I'm gonna flow like I never done this.
Okay. I think this was the end of it. Anne, are you there?
Yeah, because I'm watching it also via the stream, so I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, it's okay.
Wow, cool. I'm going to give Kofi a call.
Yeah, give Kofi a call. And yeah, I see in the comments that maybe the sound was too low. But yeah, I tried to put, it was kind of the max we could, and I didn't want to mess a lot with it on the live during the live stream. So sorry if it was too low. Hopefully the rhymes were in there,
Hi, Kofi. Bravo. Really cool.
Yo, damn, you're so sick. Damn, you're so slick, dude.
How are y'all?
Yeah, good, man.
Hold up one second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud and clear, man.
Yeah. I can't hear myself. I'm having that mic issue again. Hold up one second.
You're sounding okay,
Audio video settings. Sorry about this.
No worries.
It's okay. So let's while you set it up, let's talk about it. Maybe Anne can give some impressions. To me, Kofi is the kind of dude I see and I listen to, and I just get happy. I just like your flow. I like your stuff. I like your rhymes. It's clean.
Thank you. Now I can hear you now, because I couldn't hear before. Now you could hear me, so we're all good now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Felipe just said?
No, what did he just say?
Because it was really nice. Felipe, you should say it again.
Come on, I can't just repeat. Go on. You just interpret what I said.
Felipe said Kofi is the type of dude, and his music is an art is the sort of thing that just makes me happy.
Thanks, man.
Okay,
Thanks.
am I louder?
I try to make it happy. Yeah, now you're louder, I guess.
Cool. Okay.
So thanks for that, because since I actually wanted to do so, that was actually a pure freestyle. So usually when I do some of these freestyles, sometimes I have little cheat codes where I will pre-type words, like little clues. But since
I think we lost audio on the stream, but I'm not sure. Can someone confirm on the stream if we lost audio, or can someone type a message or something? I have the feeling we lost audio.
Yeah, there was a high pitch for a while.
Yeah. Wow, that was some glitch, haha.
I think my interface crashed.
Your interface crashed?
I think so, but I restarted it.
You got a lot of unhappy watches.
Yeah, live coding, right? Can you tell them that the...
Okay, I think the audio is there. I think it's there now. I think it's good. Yo, there was one moment, I don't know what I heard. I was like, maybe the bars caught something on fire, but that would have been a little...
Okay, so we're back?
We're back.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so what happened apparently was a crash in the sound interface. So sorry for the people who are now maybe deaf or lost some high frequencies. I guess,
Only in one ear, apparently.
Yeah. Well, live coding had to be there, huh? But this wasn't live coding. It was just a USB cable. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so let's just go back to what we were talking with Kofi, because I don't know at which point it just crashed, but we're back on track. So
what I was saying is I find it really amazing that you can engage with so many different performance practices. So you're coding the visuals and you're coding the music, and then you're also rapping on top. That's really a lot to be thinking about at the same time, or maybe not thinking, but necessarily, but feeling at the same time. And how do you experience that? Does your brain go whoa, brain overload?
So the first time was for the ILC. Ooh, wait. Wow, ICLC, yeah, I had it right. 2019, so I remember the day because I have it marked down. August 27th, I was like, you know what? I should just do live coding, music, and live freestyling for the thing. So I'm like, how hard can it be? So the first day I'm doing it, and I kid you not, I had my head was foggy for at least an hour, because I was like, there's an overload. This is actually harder than I thought. So then I had to negate, okay, how am I going to do it? And then I found that process. Then after ICLC 2019, I'm like, oh, there's so much cool visualists. It would be cool to live freestyle 3 ways, visual, interactively with the words, and then musically. And then I did that. And then I realized that, okay, I can put it in a performance, get some words, because at some point, some people don't really believe I'm freestyling. So then I like to ask the crowd, okay, give me a color, give me some words, and then put down some stuff. So yeah, it is an overload, but I think now I have like a proper pace, because I think the visuals help me cheat in a way, in the sense that like I have something to look at apart from the music. So I'm able to dynamically freestyle because I can never get lost. I just have to look at the screen and boom.
But I have a question now. So like in this kind of interactive performance where you ask people like, come on, give me a word or give me something, and then you freestyle on that, you mean you're freestyling like rhymes and text on that, a flow?
Yeah, flow. So like my flow was a bit off on that one because I was thinking of doing a higher beat, but then I call it pockets. So what I call pockets are like when some rhymes are actually good.
Yeah.
And this happened also during the Ealer Room Equinox, where I actually had like a nice rhyme scheme. Everything is going well, but I unmuted the mic. So you know when you're performing live, like you don't have to realize, but I realized online it's really different because you got to make sure your audio meters are up, like, and then all that stuff. So
yeah. You get the beeps every now and then.
Yeah.
And have you ever tried to, like, when people give you a word or something like that, to actually not freestyle it with rhymes, but freestyle it with sound? Like someone says, I don't know, birds, whatever, and then you try to, instead of make a rhyme that goes with birds, you try to make some sounds or patterns or sounds of patterns that represent birds, or
sometimes
make visuals that are birds, like. But
sometimes that's actually what I'm trying to do next.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have like a whole, like, because right now I'm just using the default pack in both Hydra and Sonic Pi. But I know with Hydra I can also implement a lot of visuals, and I know with Sonic Pi I can install a lot of my own samples. So what I'm trying to do is get more of the surrounding sound, because I could do something like, if someone tells me something like that, I can like try to record a sound straight off my phone or bring that into play.
Yeah.
So that is part of my next evolution of making the whole thing interactive. Like, let's say
that's your personal feature of music.
Yes.
To freestyle all three, things you're doing: the sounds, the rhymes, and the visuals.
Yeah, and the interactivity. Because another thing that I do lately to give people a special feeling to my pieces is that I have pre-written cue cards that sometimes make no sense and sometimes make sense. And all this is supposed to do is just throw people off and give them a unique experience that they did not know. So it will be like, let's say I'm freestyling for both of you. I will give you a card that says climate change, and the other person, have you ever thought of working in the sewers? No matter what input I put, it will affect how you listen to my sound. And this is a way that I try to play with, like, you know how now we have personalized playlists. So the personalized playlist that I'm giving to the audience is rather a random set of cards that you either take it seriously or not, but whatever I gave you, you interact with my piece in a different way.
Do you think you could bring that to the online experience?
Yes, I see that actually in the chat where someone said it could be interesting to use some images in Hydra. I have done some pieces with that, because with the screen capture where I have like 10, 15 videos, put in the image, go around that and all that. So yeah, I am trying to implement that. So that is in like what I call live spoken version. I don't even know what version I'm at now. I think I'm at version 2 or version 3. So keep that version 4.
I have another question about like what we just streamed and presented there, the video. Like, did it crash at the end? Because it kind of stopped abruptly. That's question 1. And question 2, like I see there that also you have there like one of our homies there on the comments, which is Rodrigo Velasco, right? Triste Tren.
Yeah.
What's that? Why is he there?
So in Hydra, whenever I restart, Hydra has a gallery of code. So whenever you press the restart button, it restarts the code. And one thing I like doing is that I like respecting people's work. I'd never try to steal people's work. So whenever I restart, I let the people code see. And I also feel it's good because hip hop, where like the freestyling that I like to do comes from, has a lot of emphasis on remixing. So what I like to do is that I like to show what other people code is, and then while you see it, I show you how I destruct the code to get back to freestyling. So like that's why you will see at times other people code stuff. I show their name, and then once I did enough that is my remix, then I'm like, you know what, this is what that person influence does. And that's why you see that name, because it was ended abruptly, but I like doing that because due to that random gallery, I let other people mindsets affect my flow, so that can change my sounds, that can change my words. So it adds to the whole, like, I don't know what's coming up next, neither do you, so we're all in this together.
That's sweet, man. And
it's a really live experience. I really like that. That's really.
But I like the hip hop, bringing the hip hop into the idea of remixing and samples. Are you doing that too, with the code too, or you're just approaching? Samples, or you're also you're loading code
Sonic
from other people.
Yes, I'm coding like because there's pre-built samples, and then in some of my other pieces of code, I do like use samples go in because like hip hop is very heavily sample based. Yeah. So I've been like chopping and screwing that and making like these audio visual films and the poetry. Samples,
beyond samples, do you ever load like actual algorithms or actual like programs that someone built and then start deconstructing them? Like just this thing you did with Hydra, with Rodrigo's code. Have you ever done that with sound?
Yes, I have done that because Sonic
beyond
samples.
Trick.
Where some people have done amazing, like where they just take some frequencies. Like I remember for one period of time, I was all over like binaural.
Yeah.
And I see in the comments someone said, so do you specifically search for code from others? Not really. I like to be influenced. So I like to listen to all of you live coders and then all my musician friends and try to take pieces. So some of my work is remix, but some of them is remix of my own remixes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because how I have my OBS set up is that sometimes I call some stuff sound emphasis, word emphasis, or visual emphasis. So some of my performance, the main goal is really the visuals. So all the sound and words are just extra. Sometimes it's the freestyle. So if I'm remixing someone visuals, that means that I try to make the sound or words my own. If I'm remixing someone's sound, I try to like be more original, or sometimes I'm all original throughout. Yeah. It's just that with Hydra has that special ability that I can go through other people's code without searching and really start from scratch.
That's sweet, man. I really love this remixing idea, or someone puts their code remix culture. I think it's something that can be definitely explored a lot more, and it's so nice to it's also a nice way to pay tribute to other people who have coded amazing stuff chop and screwed code also. But so we need to move on to the next one. So what about dropping us like a 1 minute freestyle just to introduce the next one, man?
Okay, what's the next person's name?
The next person's name is Raphael from Brazil.
Raphael, Brazil. Okay. So next we're going from Canada to Brazil, down south. And now I'm going to remix this line. This is probably another form of live coding, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't contain a rhyme, because now it's time to show other stuff from the north to the south. And it doesn't matter though, even though times are tough, we're all together, and hopefully we can weather the storm together, because sometimes the rainy days just means times get better. And that's what we're doing, from the violin to the free spoken lines that I do when I live code, because creativity is not in a matter that it declines, because we're all trying to go up, so we're all trying to climb like the mountains in the sky, like the mountains in the line. All we're trying to do is make sure that the times are fine. Community is needed, because there's no I in team, but there is other stuff. And now I'm choking, but I'm going to keep it rough, and you see the struggle, but now it doesn't matter, because we're trying to keep it bubbles, like we're trying to keep the bumble, because just like bees, we got our own hive, and we got to take care, and that's what should arise. But sometimes we get personally, but it doesn't matter, because even though the flow is mentally, socially, hopefully we all care, and that makes the world better, because it's not about us, it's about humanity.
Sweet, man. Yeah.
Thank you, Kofi.
Amazing coffee. Now you're my homie, man. You know it.
Hey. Yeah, for sure. And this is good so far. A really, really cool experience. Hope everyone enjoyed it. And now let's listen to some Raphael from Brazil.
Okay, let's go. I'll set that up. And while I do that, Anne can say something.
Oh, I was just about to tune it. So I have never met Raphael, so I'm really curious to see and hear what you're going to do.
Say more stuff.
Okay. I thought Kofi was going to do this amazing, like all the words that could be said. I don't have anything to add.
Okay. It's almost loaded, so we can unmute, I think. Okay. You there, Anne? Hello, Anne.
Yeah, here I am. Can you
Cool.
still hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. I'm just giving Oscar a feed, so I'm a little more distracted than usual.
No worries.
I'd be really, I found it really interesting, Raphael. What was your inspiration behind this performance?
Don't you want to call him first?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All the piece was about ghosts, where people were saying, and you're right now interviewing a ghost, apparently.
Like I said, I am feeding Oscar, so I'm a little distracted. Felipe, can you do the call? I'm sorry.
Oh, Anne, okay. Give me a sec. Then maybe tell us what you thought about this.
Oh, wait, I have it.
That was your one technical job.
I know, but my child was crying and...
Oh, man. I guess I'm always quiet because I just don't know how to speak in front of a microphone. I just get too excited and I move around. So I'm doing like this and jumping around. But now, I guess now I'm good, right?
You are.
It's just a matter of speaking here. I can hear it. Sometimes I just don't hear myself. But thanks for pointing it out. I'll try to get a bit less jumpy and excited. Anyway, really cool sound world, right? Pretty different from what we've heard so far.
So I available when I tried to call. Let me try again.
Okay, so we're trying to reach Raphael, and for some reason it's not coming. But maybe we can try to talk about him a bit. Well, we met him in the live coding meetups that we organize in the Netherlands. That's the NLCL group, the Netherlands.
I just want to change that you met him. I don't think I've ever met Raphael.
No, that's because you never come to the meetups.
That's because they're on a night where I'm working.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think there's something also really interesting about Raphael. Not only, of course, his sound world, the fact that he developed this, I don't know if I should call it a DSL or a library or what, but I mean, the fact that it's in a functional language, I think is very cool. And he also gave a talk this year in Lambda Days, which is
that is really cool. That
is really cool. It's an important functional programming conference, kind of a bit more in the industry, but they're opening a bit more to artistic practices too. And I mean, that's a really cool conference. So, him being able to give a talk there, I guess, about what he developed, what he showed us, his language, then that's really cool. So we kind of nice to talk about that with him. I think Raphael right now is in the chat. Maybe, just send the username again so that Anne can call you. That would be great.
I have it. So Rafael Sasha Severino. I have it and I'm calling it and it's just not.
Otherwise, maybe you can give your username and he can call in. Or do you want me to try to call? I can try to call.
Maybe you try to call, I don't know.
Can you just try one more time? But
it says it. I did. I've tried 3 times now. It says he's unavailable.
It says I have his in the call. But
yeah, that's what I was using too.
That's a bit weird that we cannot have him, but we can actually. Let's just try again. I'm gonna try to call him. Oh, I think that what we just did will completely ruin. Oh, I didn't ruin Skype. Okay, good. Sometimes when I move into Skype, kind of the overlay gets ruined and we just get deformed. But and let's try to bring this back to... Oh, Raphael, it says you're unavailable. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Maybe you can try to restart your Skype, or we could try a different medium to call. But otherwise, let's just try to also go back to the topic. And what do you hear, Anne? What were your impressions?
Well, that's what I wasn't really sure what I was hearing, and it kind of sent me to a different kind of place, and it felt very
Hey, we're calling.
Reminded me of an installation, actually, kind of where you walk around and you experience things. And I have the feeling that if I would listen to it again, I would hear different things to what I heard the first time I listened to it.
Okay, this is really funny because Anne, I think you're calling a different person, or we are calling a different person from what we see in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, that was so cool! Just to do some random calls. Can you just post your name? Your no, maybe don't do it in the chat. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we are calling some different person.
Yeah, I guess feeding a child or trying to make a Skype call is definitely challenging, huh?
No, it was just the person that was in our group. So I must have added him incorrectly the first time. I don't know. I'm sorry, Raphael. I do apologize.
Are you sorting this out now? Or do I need to jump in?
I'm going to sort it out. As soon as I...
Okay, among other things, I mean, I think one thing that was nice to listen to is that I think for a lot of people here and a lot of the people that know Raphael from the meetups, this is kind of a surprise, a very pleasant surprise. We haven't seen him really perform. We haven't seen him in the concerts live. I thought this was a great chance just to open up a bit like who he is as a musician. And I mean, that's the funny thing. He is a musician, you know, he is a composer, and it's very clear for me, at least in what we're listening.
Sorry, Felipe, can you make the call? Because
okay, I'm going to make the call, but in that then you have to entertain the audience.
I'm really sorry, Raphael, that we're not calling you directly. I definitely added who I thought was you, or maybe Felipe added. I don't know. Somehow the wrong person got added. Yes. But I would like to find out more about this idea of ghosts. Is that something that was... Yeah. Oh, we just have to wait till you call. But I thought it was really interesting to experience algorithmic music, but in a very I don't want to say non-groovy because that would suggest that it was lacking something. But to me it was really felt like an installation or something that I was really experiencing in a not concert no. Without that linearity that you often have in, say, a music piece. It was really something that I experienced in a broader sense, and that was really interesting. So I'd be really curious to hear about your inspiration and what you were really... I'm trying to entertain. I'm sorry,
Don't
Sebastian.
entertain, just don't say sorry. Just like, you know, what you're doing is great. Just tell us what were you listening to. I agreed with you that it wasn't, I wouldn't say groovy. It wasn't, let's say, rhythmical. It had more like an atmospheric or textural approach.
Yeah. So it was really nice to, especially in the context of this on concert, this idea that you'd expect something a bit more beaty and rhythmic, and then it was something that was really, if I had closed my eyes, I really imagined that I was kind of experiencing some sort of installation, and there were sounds coming from different places, and I wasn't really sure, but it just created a feeling. And that was really, yes, it was between sound and music. Exactly. I like that a lot. And it's interesting how, because in a way you're still coding for us, and that's very linear, but what's coming out is completely non-linear. And you don't really have that very often with music performances. I think that's something that happens much more kind of indeed in installations. At least that's where my mind went when I was listening to this. So we've been trying to call this person there, and that's how the issue happened.
Okay, I'm gonna try to call again, because I just see that the username that we received is not pointing to him. It's pointing to the person we're trying to call. So I'm a bit kind of, I don't know how to look for it. Okay. Okay, I'm on email communication with him. So
Thank you, Rosa. I'm sorry that.
Let me try to sort this out. But I mean, in a way, this also keeps with the topic that, or let's say, what kind of happened, which is about fear, right, and the unexpected. It was definitely hard. You wouldn't tell what was going to happen every next second in this piece, right? In this performance.
Absolutely not. You wouldn't be able to tell it at all, especially if you're. But that was nice. But to me, I found also because I'm not a coder, I guess, the code kind of distracting, and it was really about like seeing where was I and what kind of imagery came up with what I heard.
But you were trying to follow the code actually, or you're saying that in this type of work?
Well, when I tried to, I didn't get very far.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about following the code. It was about like, where am I and where does this soundscape really take me?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of these performances, for me in any case, where the code wasn't really necessarily the exciting part. It was really what it created as opposed to seeing it unfold. But that's a personal thing. Maybe those of you that are more code inclined would very much enjoy watching the coding itself.
Raphael, just since we're in email communication, can you please send me via email your kind of
or
email
via
you
Skype,
use for Skype?
Even better.
Yeah, because the Skype name I'm getting for you is directing us to the other person. Apparently, there's many Rafael Sousas. So if you can send me via email, now we're communicating your Skype email, then I can probably locate you
try
easier.
Calling Felipe or me via Skype.
Okay. Can you print your... Do you want to share on the public chat your Skype name? Or should I just email it?
It's literally just my name, Veinberg.
Yeah,
Go
there's
ahead.
only one. The Queen of Live Coding.
I think I definitely don't hold that title.
The Queen of Child Feeding.
Yeah, it was very visual. I agree. But visual, like, you created your own visuals, right? Or do you mean that... Yeah, I think we're on the same line. That's why for me it felt like an installation. I really imagined that I was transported somewhere else, and then everything came together, and yeah.
Cool. I really like the part when some harmony started. Like first it was kind of a lot of grains, how people were also commenting there. A lot of granulation, a lot of samples, playing with those samples and grains, and then there was this kind of harmonic part, right? Kind of this, I don't know, droney, I don't know how to call it. I'll just call it harmonic. That part really gave me, like, at first it was kind of spooky. At that point it became like really chill, really just cool to listen to. Again, kind of embracing. What was your favorite part, Anne?
I didn't have a favorite part. It was all kind of...
Oh, yeah, like
it was for me, it wasn't about parts. It was about the overall experience. This, like what I already said, that it kind of transported me to a visual soundscape. It was nice.
Yeah, okay. What we can do, just to maybe not... Because maybe like we could have like very little time with him if we talk to him. We could just try to move on to the next, and then we'll try to sort out the Skype interview at the end or towards the end to be able to talk to him a bit. Is that kind of an idea, or?
That sounds really like a good idea.
Right, we're just kind of here talking awkwardly, right?
Yeah, super awkwardly.
Cool. Look, it was like moon music also. I like that too.
It's really nice to have so many of you here. It's really
thanks for
a
joining.
nice way to connect.
Okay, so we'll just delay the interview with Raphael, and we'll just go to the next one, and then at some point we'll be able to connect with him, hopefully.
Yeah.
So who's the next person, Anne?
Oh, it's Shelly.
Okay.
And I'm curious what Shelly sent in as a video today.
Cool. Does she need an introduction?
Yeah.
Or everyone knows Shelly?
Everyone knows Shelly, but I think we haven't really been giving big introductions, so I think we'll talk more about Shelly and her music after the video.
Of course, but it's nice that you say something while I'm trying to load it.
Oh.
Okay, here I'm almost there. Okay, so we'll just jump to the next one. And then we'll try to connect with Raphael in a bit. Okay, enjoy.
Ciao.
Okay. Okay, and are you back online?
Online. Sorry, now I'm back online.
Okay, good.
So now we're going to call.
Interesting. Cool. Really cool. Definitely
That was really
pumped.
cool.
Definitely pumped.
We're going to call Shelly and Raphael.
Yeah, so it seems that we're running a little bit late according to the proposed schedule, or maybe what the stream description says. So we're going to try to compensate by calling Raphael, which didn't work on the last one, and Shelly at the same time. And then we'll just try to catch up on the time. But it might be that we just keep on streaming for a bit longer than we originally said. Yeah? We'll try to catch up, because anyway, I can already see from Anne's face that we should just stay on time.
What? My face doesn't say that.
Oh, okay. So let's make the call.
Did I succeed in adding them? Why am I so confused?
Having said this, we just have to make sure if also Robert, our last artist we want to feature, is okay to have a. It's okay to have a little bit of a, be called a bit late. Oh my god! Again, my sound is bad. Hello.
Is that Shelly? Yes. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hey.
Hey Shelly, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still struggling with the microphone. And that was really punk. That's definitely punk. Really
Yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah, definitely close to noise aesthetic also. And also curious about what people were saying and what you also said about this kind of collaborating with yourself and double coder. I'm curious how you came up with that, because it's definitely something I hadn't seen before in a live coding performance, and it's definitely an interesting and innovative concept.
Yeah, I suppose in a live context, it's really hard to duplicate yourself and do visuals and audio at the same time. So, I just thought I should take advantage of the context of pre-recording a set to be able to also do visuals for myself, essentially. So, yeah, that's what I did.
But what this meant, does this mean that you were playing a video of one of your sets, or you were sort of letting the code be played by itself of a different set, and you were only doing sound this time, or you were doing visual? Because at some point I thought, you're doing two sound sets at the same time because of the stuttering and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, no, I had two different sound interfaces. One was Super Collider and one was a browser web interfaces. And they're both essentially different ways of remixing a corpus of, it was Riot Girl music. So 1990s feminist punk. And so I had two different sound processes going on at the same time. And so I recorded that. And then I essentially made visuals to my own set and recorded that on top of it. So yeah, and then I just chucked the two videos on top of each other and send it to you.
And how does it feel collaborating with yourself as opposed to collaborating with someone else? Because then you have more control. You when you play with someone and you're I really want them to do that, and then they might do something else. But then you also have similar when you play with someone else, you're thinking this could be nice, and then they do something, you're oh, that's super cool. There's the interaction of a second player, it has its ups and downs, but it's a more questionable, there's more questionable. That's not the right word.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question, because I the audio visual collaboration in live coding is often a bit weird anyway, and a bit unidirectional, because usually if you're the person making sound, you can't see what the visual live coder is doing because it's behind you. So, but you just trust them that they're super pro and they know what they're doing, and it's going to be great, and it usually is. And I mean,
or you ignore them.
I'm not at all expert in making visuals. I just really like playing with Hydra, because it's Super Collider but with video, and I kind of do all the same like synthesis processes in that, so I find it really fun. But I don't really I don't know, I don't really have any experience in making visuals, so it's more just for fun than knowing what I'm actually doing.
So Raphael has joined us.
Wait,
Sorry,
is this a good
that's
Raphael?
really great to have you after.
I wish you this is good Raphael.
Too much faffing around on my behalf.
I remember a Raphael with glasses. Do we got the right Raphael?
Yeah, okay. So.
Yeah.
Oh, see now you look.
It's the real Raphael.
Like
you can take the glasses off now. I'm just making sure because we're just calling random people apparently.
No. It's I just use it for reading and stuff like that. Or.
Man, it was a very, very pleasant surprise to listen to your sound world.
Yeah, thank you. I was while we were trying to connect, I was really happy reading the comments, and thanks for all the nice insights into the music. It was lovely.
How would you define your style yourself?
Give us some bit of background information about the piece.
So I used some samples that I recorded on travels, some recordings that I did at home with sort of any object, and also some sounds from public domain movies. So these are old movies that have people forgot to renew their copyright or something, and then they end up in the public domain, and they have this nice soundtracks or this nice vibe to their soundtrack of the music of the time. So that's where that chord at the end that you hear comes from, and also some of the conversation sounds that appear distorted.
But you know what's amazing about what you're saying? Did you actually see some of the comments that people were? Someone said, I think it is Preach It, that that it was like a movie. Like following a movie, and are you saying you use film samples? That kind of came through. That's pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like you transform sounds, but they still carry through some of their source characteristics, I guess.
Yeah, kind of its essence.
It's really nice that it shows. Yeah.
Cool. And how did it go in Lambda days? Or tell us about also like your functional approach.
In Lambda days, I ended up talking more about the synthesis part and less about the live coding aspect of it. Even though I used it to make the demonstrations and make changes on the fly there to the synth examples. So the reason that I end up using a functional language like OCaml was that I was already using it for my music, but not for live coding. So I already had some material, some code for algorithmic composition. So when I decided to get more into live coding, it was more a decision of, okay, I want to keep using all the things that I already have in this new medium. So then I decided to keep using OCaml and just build some environment to do live coding with it.
Awesome. And could you actually let's go back to Shelly so that she doesn't get bored there. So and this concept you came about like riot or punk, what's the aesthetic approach there, or maybe not approach but more like what are you looking for?
Yeah, I guess like I just felt like there's like a lot of parallels between punk and live code and Algorave, at least in terms of like the process and sort of seizing the means of production and the politics as well. And so I guess I also kind of like punk, so I was just like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to make I suppose I thought about it as an Algorave performance, but it's actually really noisy, so I'm not sure it really works in Algorave. To make sort of an Algorave performance that kind of like references punk and sort of thinking about what the parallels are. So I guess it's more... Sorry?
Would you call this an Algorave performance?
I guess for this context, I didn't really think about maintaining a normal rhythmic parameter that might be passable in a Algorave context. But I mean, it certainly would be possible to make it more like normatively rhythmic and less sort of free form noise. So yeah, I guess it's sort of sitting in some kind of weird space between Algorave and not Algorave,
which is perfectly in line with the theme for this evening's concert.
Yeah.
One of the questions I actually had for you is because you were maybe one of the key people in this lineup that actually does a lot of Algoraves as well as non-Algorave live coding performances. And so what you just described, normatively rhythmic, are those the key characteristics of what makes an Algorave performance from you for as opposed to other live coding performance?
Yeah, I suppose when I'm not doing Algorave, I feel a bit freer to like push the boundaries more of like what's kind of acceptable, because you don't have like some people on a dance floor who are expecting to dance. Like, so it's like if it doesn't make sense or isn't like, you know, a standard EDM beat-based thing, it's fine. Like it can be freeform and it's cool. But yeah, I suppose for me, Algorave has always been kind of funny because I more or less like learned how to make dance music in the context of Algorave. Like before that, I was doing sort of like noise and experimental music. And so when through doing live coding, I ended up playing Algoraves. And so I was like, well, how do I make like this noise stuff work in that context? So it's sort of, I guess when I first started doing Algorave, I was more or less sort of quantizing noise music into more like repetitive rhythmic structures, and that kind of works somehow. And I think I've forgotten what the question was exactly.
I think also that we don't need to contain everything within the Algorave format. Of course, it's like a very attractive format, and it's very nice to go to a club, drink some beers, dance a bit and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely very nice to start seeing that maybe new branches can start popping up, like Algo Riot, and then that we know we're going to a punk performance.
Yeah.
We can also drink beer,
Yeah, I mean,
take our shirts off, and dance in the middle, have a pit, you know.
I quite like to sort of move fluidly between like Algorave and beat-based stuff and more noise-based stuff, and sort of applying some of the same processes and sounds in like both contexts, but like trying to work out what the like points are where you need to make something a bit more regular to fit into an Algorave context, or where you can experiment a bit more in other contexts. So
it's nice to let more context exist.
And also where you can like,
Yeah, go on.
And also where you can like push in Algorave spaces, like the sort of what's acceptable in that context, or like what sort of sounds you can use, and sort of pushing the limits of what you can play in the dance music context.
I guess so. Yeah, that's our approach. I kind of like the idea of having like kind of a pit or a riot, kind of a place where you only get the punk and the noise stuff, and maybe another floor where we get the ambient stuff, where is where I would probably put Raphael. But anyway, really cool.
I'm the opposite. I like the idea that we would be all together and you could put this all in the same evening, right on the go, and it would fluently flow from one to another. Imagine you're dancing hardcore and then suddenly you like turn around and you're in this like ambient, surreal kind of like soundscape from Raphael, and then you do some more dancing, and then you end up something which doesn't have that symmetry in the rhythm, and you're kind of awkwardly moving. Let's face it, most of us move pretty awkwardly anyway. So why should we actually try to move in a conventional rhythmic manner? Like, why not embrace that awkwardness also?
Algorithm.
I mean,
awkward.
That's what I would love to see Algoraves go, and maybe they should live coding concerts go. And sometimes I think Felipe and you and I played in an event which was really a mixed once between Algorave and non-Algorave performances, I think in Bilbao, and that's really nice because then each dance or Algorave style performance is much more exciting, because before that is something that's completely different. And yes, you might not be able to just party and party on. But on the other hand, most Algorave sets go for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes anyway, Shelly. Would that be accurate? That's a pretty long time to be dancing. Like, you've got enough time to dance during that and then be ready for something else.
I guess you're right, but also depends like what do you want to do, and like what do you go out for that night? Do you want to experience this kind of concert where you go from one world to another, or you want to go to dance? And I think,
absolutely,
I mean, you have a right point, but maybe we should start like you actually go out to Algoraves and dance.
It's because they're all too late. I need to be in bed by 10. Like,
okay. Hey, let's just move on so that we don't delay this so much. But thank you guys, and I'm glad we could talk to you, Raphael. And thanks for sending the stuff, and thanks for taking the call. Yeah. Very nice proposals.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you.
Thank you, both. It's been so nice. All right.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to our last featured artist, which is, again, local talent from the Netherlands. And maybe, Anne, you can talk a bit while I load it.
So we're going to have Robert play. And I think what's nice about Robert is he's not really so part of the live coding community so much, although he's a really hardcore Super Collider person. I said this once in a concert. Robert van Heumen was one of the first Dutch artists, like electronic music artists that I heard. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I was really privileged if whenever I get the opportunity to share a podium with him.
I feel the same. He was also one of the artists I featured also in my thesis, in my master's thesis, and I interviewed, kind of representing some of the electronic music in the Netherlands. So it's very nice to have him now as part of the live coding community, and let's see what his approach is, right?
Yeah, let's check it out. Hi.
Okay.
I thought the video already finished, or am I wrong?
Didn't finish yet, but
Oh, sorry. Okay.
oh my.
Hey, we're online. Hi, Anne, are you there? I'm sure my microphone is okay now. Do you guys hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah? Okay, cool. And you, Anne, where are you?
I'm here, but I thought the video hadn't finished.
No, it had finished. Actually, there was we could see on your last slide that you were recording your own session too. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Anne, are you there again?
All right.
Okay.
Hi, I'm here. Are you there?
Okay, I see you there, but Anne is kind of not there. But if you are there, Robert, that's fine. Man,
You hear me?
we hear you. Perfect. And we also
Great.
heard your piece and your. To me, to be honest, it sounded like two pieces. It was just.
Yeah,
it was
anyway.
just freaking awesome. Of course. I mean, it's just so nice to have you as part of the community, and it's just it's just so refined. Your sounds are so refined. That's kind of my first impression, and like you hear
Thanks.
in your musical development and your musical world, you just hear the experience that you possess as a musician and as a podium artist, and it's just very clear. Like sometimes I hear to your stuff, and then I think of the blips and blobs that I make, and I think, wow, this is like ages apart. It's just really just very refined. To me, it's just very refined, well done music, and it felt like two pieces for me. Like I had a really nice curve, and then around the minute 13, it was like one very nice cadence, and it was okay. That's it. And then it kind of, you had like a two. It would be like like listening to two tracks of an album, and probably if you would have an album and sell it here, people would buy it too.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it was basically two ideas that I was interested in exploring, and I was just wondering how it would come out. So I just took one take of it, and this is what came out.
Cool. So you would say this was improvised, or like how do you do this? Because it sounds like so well thought out.
Well, to be honest, I mean, it's very different from the way you do live coding, in that I prepare a lot. Because it's also the way I came from. Like you said, like I played usually with a developed instrument in superclarinet that I don't really touch during the performance. It's just a setup that I start, and then I control it with MIDI controllers and joysticks. That's what I used to do. But now I use the similar kind of material to use code to control it. So in a way, that's why it's also more developed, because it's kind of building blocks that I use.
So you would say that in a way you're transitioning from your instrument, like you're into interacting with with code with this instrument. Like your instrument came from was a joystick, and now it's code. Let's say, but it was always meant with code, but now it's live coding instead of a joystick.
Yeah, the is a different way of controlling it, so to say. And when I started looking into live coding, what I knew at that time from live coding was what I saw you do.
Oops.
And so I started from nothing, from scratch. But very soon I was not satisfied with the sound I could make within a certain time frame. So I started using kind of building blocks, and in that way have more sophisticated sound, or more complex sounds, but still have in the code. It was interesting that somebody in the feed said live in quotes, which I found interesting, because that's kind of also, whenever I'm doing live coding, and also in general electronic music live, there's always this thing like, when is it really live, and what does it mean live? And in a way I can understand why people think this is not really live, because it's all prepared code, but the structure and the timing is done live, of course. So,
and I don't think people really mind that it's all prepared. and it's not all prepared. Also, like
Yeah.
your train of thought
No,
is
true.
not prepared, and whatever level of coding you're doing, like right now it's very transparent when you're doing, and that's also nice. So even if we see your big blocks, you could just put those big blocks in just one function of one variable, and then maybe it looks less prepared, but in the end it's also the building block is there behind. A lot of work is already done, so I wouldn't worry about that.
I would like to hear a little bit about your ideas or the impact of changing the interface from a joystick and MIDI controllers to using the code itself as the interface for your coding, and how that impacts your music.
Well, I think the idea when I started making live electronic music a while ago, I started building this instrument and I wanted to have an instrument that I could interact with acoustic musicians, so I could also change scenes and kind of change sounds in a flick of a wrist, or like in a really short time frame. And that's something I'm kind of struggling with now with the code. That it, as long as I do it as a solo performance, it's fine. But it turns out more kind of drony and slow developments, which I like, but it's quite different from what I used to do. So I guess that's the big difference for me. Like with the instrument, with the physical controllers, I could stop what I was doing at any moment and start something completely different. And in code, it takes a bit more time. So I'm kind of looking for ways to be as flexible as with the controllers, but then using the code.
But don't you find you have, at the same time, more control and changing things very specifically? Because you can also... So it might be slower, but it's in a way more specific and more not refined, but...
less crystallized.
Yeah, it's a different way of... a different kind of freedom. Like with the instrument, everything is fixed. I can control a lot of parameters, but I cannot go beyond that. And in the code, I can change any of the parameters in the sound, but it takes it's on a different time frame level, so to say. But definitely, you have more freedom in the way you can change all kinds of details within the sound.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really enjoyed the set. I thought it was a perfect way to finish this evening. And in some ways, I would say this was the most Algoravy of all the sets we have. But again, for me, that comes kind of a little bit back to timing. So it's a nice way to... We've had a lot of really interesting... all the performances have been really interesting and very different in their own way. And some have been more challenging than others in terms of like how much concentration you needed to appreciate them, or where they sent you kind of in terms of your imagination or what they gave. And I found this really nice way to kind of chill and finish off what I found this has been a wonderful evening. So I want to thank everyone. Also everyone in the comments. It's just been a really nice way to connect in this period of lockdown.
There's been also 9 donations, so thanks to everyone who donated, and if you still want to donate, the link is open. And as Hans says, thanks to everyone, and thanks to the artists, and also thanks to III that hosted this event, and they made this series possible. So it's everyone's work that this is possible, and it was also a nice evening.
Yeah. Felipe started rounding it off. I sounded like I was rounding things off. What I actually meant to say wasn't actually rounding things off, although we should finish up. But for me, it was also interesting to see how indeed your style, Robert, has changed or is different because of the way that you're using your electronic music now through this code. And I thought it was interesting that having gone from a more physical interface with the code to just the coding, you also developed a more Algorave-esque sound, and that made me think, I wonder if it does kind of make it if live coding, if making beady kind of music, it has just come so naturally to the way that people live code. I think I'm rambling. This is clearly past my bedtime. Shall we call Jonathan to tell us a little bit more about III?
He says it's okay that we can close off now. It's just basically thanking them again and also reminding that this is one of a series of 4 concerts or performances. The last one will be on Algorave. The next one will be on the, let me check my notes, but I think on the 24th of May. Yeah, 24th of May, because of the lockdown. Well, it's not a lockdown really, but no cultural events until the 1st of June in the Netherlands. It might also be live streamed. So just follow III or Netherlands Live Coding on Twitter to get more information about it. It will be hosted by Joanna, which, a lot of people know her. Joanna Chikau, I hope I said it okay. But the theme will be Flesh, which is dance and embodiment in live coding. That's a nice challenge for live streaming. And also, if you like this format, if you like kind of Anne saying stuff and interviewing the artists, we're thinking of doing more of this. So maybe you guys can help me convince Anne to stay awake a bit more often. And hopefully there'll be more of this. And anyway, it just was a nice evening, and thanks Robert for being part of this. And you're such a
it was a really nice evening, and I was really impressed and really loved all the performances, and it's just so wonderful to connect with all of you musicians as well and everyone in the stream. It really made my night. And then now I realized how tough, how long it's been and how nice it is to connect with people. Oh yes, and do sign up to the newsletter. Yeah. Is there a link, Mariah, for the newsletter?
Mariah can put a link there on the comments. It's basically the Facebook page if you have Facebook, or if you do Facebook, or you use Facebook. Otherwise, I think they're also on Twitter. On what's the other one? Instagram. Yeah, that one. But yeah, also, just follow Anne Veinberg. She's everywhere. Pretty cool. And Robert van Heumen too, which what would you say is the main channel to follow you, Robert? Just to visit your site and sign to your newsletter if people like your music and want to listen to your albums or try to see what's going on with you?
Yeah, my website. I have a newsletter, but I don't have a way of signing up. So if you want to be on my newsletter, you can just send me an email and I'll put you on it. So.
Okay, so if you want, you can just post your email there on the comments. Also, for all the other artists, a lot of them did have the info on their stream, so that was nice. And if not, you can communicate there. But, thanks, guys. This was all common community effort. And thanks for the donations, and thanks for the support. And
well, thanks to Anne and Felipe for all the hard work getting us all connected.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of worked, and hopefully you guys, listeners or watchers, also got a nice, evening eating or making food or digesting the food while listening to all this.
Oh wait, before we go, I do want to ask Felipe. So, what do you think is the future of music?
I think it's well. I would say. Well, I talked about that. Okay, I'll put the partners' logos in a bit, because we have to also thank the partners which support III, which in turn support us. And then this nice discussion that Robert's also here, and Anne. So do you want me to take the serious approach or the Felipe approach?
The Felipe approach.
Hip hop is the future. Now, okay. The other approach would be... I guess what I would like to see is kind of what was represented by this kind of gathering is the future is definitely to go away from what mainstream is and just a couple of people making a bunch of music and having a bunch of followers, and let's say the mainstream art forms that are there and dominating and monopolizing the music industry, and actually starting to have more creativity and expression where everybody expresses what they want artistically. Like I do think everyone has it in them to make music or art or visuals or something. So I think that the future will go into having more individual expression, and instead of having like one artist we all follow, everyone will have something interesting to say, and we will follow each other accordingly. Maybe following is not the right word, but I mean, I'm just imagining this place where everyone creates, and we equally appreciate and listen to what each of us do, if it's a sonic creation or if it's a visual creation or whatever it is. But it's more this kind of community thing, and probably also kind of what happened already with the remixes or the stuff we're seeing, or the sample using. Robert also used samples. Maybe we will also start going away from the idea of I made this, or I am the composer, or I am the artist, but we will start going into more like a bit public domain, I guess, or releasing things there for others to use, and we use accordingly other things, and getting into this sort of kind of community creation and community creator, where the one or this image of the artist or the composer is all of us.
Okay.
With coding as well, we saw today, live coding can be a way to achieve that. Not the only way, but it definitely presents interesting scenarios to get to that place. What about you, Anne? What do you think?
Cool. Well, I found this evening really encouraging because it saw so many different approaches to the future of music, or to music in general. And also, I think it's really interesting how people's music develops over time and changes and goes back and forth, and but always carrying the baggage that it picked up along the way. So I found this a really wonderful evening to actually see a good variety of contemporary art making today. So,
what about you, Robert?
Yeah.
That probably you're the most experienced artist among all the ones that were here present. What could you say from your experience and at the point you're right now in your life, and what you've seen, and also what you've been learning about live coding and stuff, and maybe just music in general? What would you say could be the future of music?
Well, I kind of like what you mentioned, like the fact that it becomes more something less proprietary, like not that people like claim that they have invented some kind of sort of music, or that piece is theirs. Actually, one of my inspirations is this duo Hype Williams from the UK. And actually, it's not really clear if it's actually what people are behind it. Actually, it might be a collective actually, and they bring out LPs, and it's kind of fake, and usually there's no names on it. And in a way, I kind of like that. So it's not really about the person, not about the image of a person, but it's really about the music. Of course, it's also some kind of image if you decide not to have an image. But I kind of like that idea that it's more about the music itself than the image that is built around it.
Great. Let's make it happen. The future is open, and it's up to us and to the people right now in the present to kind of put our intention and attention and just decide where this will go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So let's round it off, and let's also thank III once again, and thank the sponsors, which I'm putting them here, which is the Creative Industries Fund, NL, the Stimulating Funds Industry, which kind support. They have helped a lot of the people in the community also, including ourselves. Stroom Den Haag, The Hague, I guess that's the gemeente, and also Fonds Podium Kunsten. And this is great. So tune in again and subscribe if you want. We'll be doing more of this. Hopefully a podcast or more streams, and there will be more NLCL III concerts. There will be 4 in total. And time to go to eat or bed. Okay, ciao everyone.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you.